All right, so the next thing we want to do now is see how we, so if you have more than one distribution board, obviously, you can then come here. You see, we have just DBA here, so that's done. You can just come, however it is you tag your DB. So I can just say, for sake of simplicity, I'm just going to call this DBB. Sorry about that, DBB. All right, and I'm going to add DB. All right. So to set the active DB, the DBA is what we've worked on now. If you go to the lighting now, you see it's L1A. So we've been working on DBA. But right now, I want DBB to be the active DB. That's the new DB that I just set. So I'm just going to come here and I'm going to change this to DBB. Okay, so right now it's the active DB. For one single phase or three phase, this is where I select it. Okay, all right. So that's about it. And you just go to the lighting. You'll see there's nothing there in DBB. You begin to load your lighting just the way we did it before. Sockets, AC units, everything. You know how to do that. And when you're done again, you go to load schedule and you build load schedule. Very, very, very simple. Okay, very, very simple, very easy. So but what I'm going to do now is, so I have some distribution board that I have done. So you can, when you're done with DBB2, you go to DBC, you go to DBD, or however it is you tag your distribution boards. But I have some distribution boards that I have already exported, so I'm just going to import them right now. So let me just import this. I have like A to E or something. Okay, so this will perform a factory reset and replace all current data with imported data. Are you sure you want to continue? Yes, I want to continue. All right, so if you now look at it now, I have how many DBs? A, B, C, D, E, because I have done them before. You understand? I've done all these before. So, and you know how to do them individually. Just when you're done with one DB, come here, add DB, then make it active. When you add it, make it active, set active DB. Then you go and load them your lighting sockets using your drawings. Okay. So right now, if you have DBA here, which is the active DB, and you go to my lighting, you can see L1As, sockets, P1, P2, all of them are there. Okay. If I go back to settings, I make DBB the active DB. So I just come here and make DBB. Let's say I've loaded it, the active DB. If you go to your lighting now, you see now what you have, the L1B, L2B. Okay, so let's say you have treated that this one to P1B, P2B, and all. If I go to my settings and I now make DBC the active DB, the same thing. You go to your lighting, you see now it's okay. This distribution board, okay, I have not I didn't think I built anything in this distribution board. This DBC, let me see DBD right now. Let me go to DBD. So it means that DB I created it, but I didn't put any. I have not loaded it. All right, so let me see DBD. This DBC, so let me see DBD. All right, do I have anything on DBD? No, I also don't have anything on DBD. Then lastly, let me see DBE. DBE. Okay, let's see. Do I have anything on DBE? Yeah, I have something on DBE. So lighting the sockets. Yes, I have something on DBE. So basically, I have something. I don't have anything on DBC and DBD. I can delete them. So if you want to delete DB, you can say wait here. So I don't have anything on DBC. I can delete it. Are you sure you want to delete DBC? This will permanently remove all lighting sockets. But remember, I don't have anything on this, so I can say okay. So if you look at the amount of DBs here now, DBC is missing. Also on DBD, I don't have anything on DBD. I can also delete DBD. Okay. So I can also delete DBD. So I'll just go to DBD now. Okay. And I'm going to delete it. Are you sure? I have nothing on it. Okay. Are you sure you want to delete DBD? This will permanently remove all lighting sockets, AC, and dedicated items associated with this DB as well as its schedule. This action can be done. Okay. So what I have here now is DB A, B, and E. All right. So let's say these are the three DBs I have on that in that building or in that project. This is just an example, of course. Now another thing you can do. Remember, I only have DB A, B, and E. So I don't have DB C and DB D. Another thing you can do is when you're in your load schedule, and so let me set an active DB now. So let me say my active DB is DBD. So my active DB, let's say is DBB. All right, is my active DB. If I go to the load schedule, so you see this is all B, okay, because that's my active load schedule. Okay, so what I want to do now is, peradventure I have a typical unit, I have a typical unit, so I can then replicate distribution boards. Okay, I can replicate distribution board. So to replicate distribution board, okay, I can just come here, and click show. You say duplicate active DB to new DB. So new DB name, I can now use DBC. Now I've not used DBC before. So here use a DB that you have not used before too. Okay. So new suffix C because I put C there. So you will say duplicate DBB into new DB and make it active. So if I click on this distribution board will now be duplicated into distribution board C, especially when you have a typical unit. You know what I mean? You have the very same things and it's just going to be typical. So I'm just going to click on this. So DBB has been duplicated into DBC with suffix C. So I click OK. All right. So now active DB is now DBC. It will now tell you to build the schedule. So I'm going to build schedule of DBC now. So you can have all this. It's now built for DBC. Okay. Built for DBC. So if I want to balance it, I can balance it. But before I balance it, if you now go to your lighting, you will see now it has been, because it was replicated. So I now have a DBC, which I don't have before. Okay. Sockets too, same thing, because it's typical, by the way. All right. So if I go to my load schedule, I can then look at this is a DBC now. The phases are not balanced. I can just auto balance the phase here, and I have all these. Okay, auto balanced phase. All right, so that's beautiful, and I have my connected load, everything there, feeder cable, simple as A, B, and C. So you can also replicate distribution boards. You can, now you know how to do for each individual distribution board. You know how to replicate distribution boards. Now, one thing we've not done is we've not done a single phase. So let's say we want to we want to do a supply type. So let me do another duplication. Let me go to the load schedule. This DBC, I'm going to duplicate it into DBD because I don't have DBD. So I'm going to show. So DBD, I'm going to use DBD. You can see it's already putting DBD there because it's a DB I've not used anyway. DBD. Okay. So now, so I'm going to duplicate this DBC into DBD and make it active. Okay. Just like I did before. Simple. All right. So DBD is now the active DB. If I go to the settings now, you see that this is the active DB. I can now change DBD. So let's say DBD is actually a single phase. I'm just saying, I'm not duplicating. I'm just saying, I just went that way so that I don't have to do it from the beginning. So let's assume this is actually a single phase DB. So I can just change it here. Okay. What phase do I want to put it on? Maybe that yellow or blue. You understand? That's my okay. I can use red. I can use yellow. I can use blue. Okay. So if I use yellow, okay. So if I use yellow now, so and it's the active DB. All right. So if I go back to to the load schedule now, and I build load schedule, can you see it's just the yellow phase that is there? Only yellow phase. So everything that I have here, is now on the yellow phase for DBD because DBD is a single phase, 12,500 watt. This is the voltage, and these are all your okay because it's a single phase distribution board. All right, so that's it. You can use a single phase distribution board. You can use a three phase board DB, and I can go back to my settings and turn it back to a three phase distribution board. Okay, and I go back to load schedule and I rebuild it. Load schedule. I'm just going to rebuild it now because it's not a three phase DB, so you have to rebuild it. And of course, you have your RYB. All right, okay. And I can then balance the phases. Okay, the phases are not balanced. I can balance auto balance phase. Okay, you can see that they are more balanced right now. So, and this is the load summary, or everything you need. Load summary is there. So that's it about. So now you know how to do different distribution boards. But one thing that you can also do, because some of you can be thinking, okay, in the lighting, how do I handle situations that are not here? Okay, so if you already know what you want, okay, for instance, say look at this design now. let's say I want to have some external lighting here. Maybe I want to have one, two, three, four, 5, 6, 7 external lights, and I want to use 15 watts each, okay? Or 10 watts each, okay, for my external lights, or say 15 watts each. So if I go to my, so that one, I don't even need to bother myself, all right? So it depends on, let's say I want to put in on a single phase DB with all the other street lights or whatever it is I want to do. I want to put it on the same circuit. Say, okay, this L4D. So I can just do that, put that on L5D. So I can just call it EXLGT. Okay, external light. Okay, let me put it in caps. Just it doesn't matter really. I just EXLGT. Okay. So circuit label, I can call it, what's my last circuit label? L4D. I can even call it EXL1D or EX, I can just call it, or L5D, whatever it is you want to do, EXL1-D. All right. So it really depends on how, your external light, how many circuits you want to put it on. So let's say you want to put it on one or two circuits. So if so that's why I'm calling this one EXL1D. You know how you do yours. Okay. So it's suggesting 12 by 3. I'm going to disregard this. I know I want to make, perhaps maybe I want to use 6 numbers in that place or 8 numbers. I'm just going to come here and override 8 numbers. Okay. That's that. And I'm just going to add room. Okay. So if you come here, that's external lighting. 12 suggested, but I'm using 8 points. So this is the 8 point I'm using. Okay, so it's very, very simple. If I have, maybe I have it on 2 circuits, I can add another one, external lighting again, 2, EXLGT2. Okay, and I call it EXL2 dash A. Simple. The first one was AXL1, oh, dash D, sorry. I'm on a D distribution board, so dash D. Okay, so this one, so I'm just going to override. I don't care. I'm just going to override it. Say I have another 6 there. Okay, and I'm going to add room. So you see, this has taken care of my external lighting. External lighting 1. Okay, using external lighting 2. Use 6 point, and it has added it. If you go to the distribution board, load schedule now. Okay, if it's not there, it's very simple. Just rebuild load schedule and it has added it for you. CL1 external lighting. Okay, so it's there in your load schedule right now. Okay, so I can also rebalance the faces here, and the phases are rebalanced. So so if you have a use case that is not already there, okay, so that's that. And a lot of times our trainees and professionals write us that, okay, can we also have this function, and we just put it there. Okay, so like some have been asking us for how to use it to create bill of engineering measurement and evaluation, and that exists on the raw file, but we're working on putting it on the web version. All right, so that's why you want to be a part of this. So the next thing we're going to do now is we're going to go to the final panel. So you have a lot of distribution boards. How do you create your panel, your final panel? All right.